welcome to Hometalk Live. I'm really excited today to be here. I'm Isabel LaRue from Engineer Your Space. You'll find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all over the place. And today I'm really excited to share with you how to update really ugly drawer knobs. So if you want to change up a piece of furniture or your cupboards and give them new life, I'm going to show you how to make knobs with a couple of different things. We're going to start off by making knobs with stones. And I live in LA, so you would think that I could find these on the beach or something, but that was really hard, so I ended up getting them at the dollar store. Now, I don't know where you guys are, so if you want to tell me where you're tuning in from, I'd love to hear it. I'm in sunny LA today, which is actually great because it's been raining here for a while. So the first thing you want to do with your stones is to find some that have a flat surface, like this one here, or this, like this. So that's really important, to find some that are roughly the same size and that have this flat back.
Oh, we got someone coming in from Florida.
Oh, Florida. Now you've got us beat for sunshine and warm weather today.
A couple from Florida, actually.
Cool. And also, as I'm making my knobs and with these stones, I'd love to hear what you would use to make your own knobs. Hometalk is giving away a tote bag to the person that has the most creative idea of what to use for knobs. So be sure to share what you would use, and at the end of this video, they're going to choose a winner.
Oh, we've got someone from Wheatley, Ontario, Canada. I love that. Shout out to Wheatley because I grew up near Wheatley.
Cool. So my camera woman here, Lisa, is from Canada as well.
We've got Kentucky. We have some more from Florida. We've got Texas in the house. We've got someone else from Ontario, some Californians. People are coming in from all over the place here.
Cool. So what I'm doing now is I'm making knobs, your DIY knobs, and I'm using a pretty gritty sandpaper to scruff up the surface, the flat surface.
Is it a special kind of sandpaper?
No, it's not a special kind. It's just gritty, I forget what the grits is, but just coarse sandpaper. I got this at the hardware store. Doesn't really matter. The idea is just to basically clean off the flat surface and give it a little bit more texture so that the glue will adhere to it better. So I'm just using a paper towel to clean off the dust.
We've got some more people coming in from Boston, Virginia, Puerto Rico.
Hi, welcome. I'm from LA, or not from LA, but I'm in LA right now.
Minnesota.
And I got these rocks at the dollar store because it was very hard for me to find some that would work for this project on the beach, which is where I would have loved to find some.
Oh, we've just got some good ideas already coming in for the tote bag. Some vintage thread reels from their sewing room.
Oh, yeah.
For the sewing room is kind of cool.
That would work, for sure. So the key piece of hardware that you need to turn just about anything into a knob is these little guys here. And let me get one out of its bag. They're called connector caps, or they're also called barrel nuts. And it's this piece of metal that has it threaded inside, and then you can just put a bolt in it and it will be able to attach to your drawer or your cabinet.
So we've got some people from Miami and Michigan and Hawaii. We got people coming in from all over. They're asking where they would get something like those hardware.
I found those on Amazon, and I have a link on my blog, engineeryourspace.com, that has a blog post that has all this information with links to these things. They are a little bit tricky to find, but I also found some at the hardware store. I found, where are the ones I found at the these are the ones that I found at the hardware store. And you can see here it's called Connecting Cap Nut. I found this at Home Depot, and I just asked them for connector cap nuts. And these come in the pack of 4.
Okay. And these other ones are on Amazon.
These other ones here are more bronze colored, and I found these on Amazon, and I found these on Amazon as well. And these are called, they call them barrel nuts on Amazon for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they're the same thing essentially. Now the thing that you want to keep in mind is that this one is is imperial, and this one is metric. So you have metric hardware and you have imperial hardware that in the U.S. most people use. It's imperial measurements. And the only reason that that matters is if you're using your own bolts, which is what I did. I just went to the hardware store and I got these bolts that work. Because you can buy the same colored bolts as the nuts here, but they're much more expensive. And since you actually don't see these at all because they're in your drawer, I didn't really care to get the ones that matched. So if you get the imperial nut, you need to get the imperial bolt, and vice versa. If you get the metric, you need to get the metric. And that's pretty much all, like, the biggest thing about this.
Yeah, and we've got people coming in from Greece and from across Europe, so not just the Canadians in terms of the metric.
This is true.
We got the Colorado and California. They'll be looking at the imperial size. We've also got some suggestions for the knobs for the free tote. Someone was talking about, I'm going to mess this up, but deer antlers or deer, there's pieces of the deer antler that they find in the woods. So.
Oh, wow. That would be very unique. I haven't seen that one done. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm just mixing some epoxy glue. And this one dries clear. You can get, whatever epoxy glue you want to use is fine. And I'm just mixing it until it gets all white, which means it's going to get sticky and stick to what I want it to stick onto.
We've got some fake crystal rock as a suggestion.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, and keep your suggestions coming, and you'll get a chance to win a tote bag at the end of this video.
Oh, we've got India and Ireland in the house, too. Wow, people are coming from all over the world right now.
Cool. So what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of making sure there's no dust and stuff on the back of this nut. I never really did anything to this, and it's always worked fine, but you might want to make sure that there's no dirt on it.
Just for those just joining us, maybe you can remind them what you're doing here. So.
I'm making knobs out of stones. So what I'm doing now is I'm just putting epoxy, and we're going to replace these knobs with prettier ones. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think those ones are kind of not really nice looking. So, and then it's just a matter of placing the nut cap on the stone like this, and just center it as much as you can. I just eyeball it, and then I just put it in this little bed of gravel. This is actually gravel that's supposed to go in an aquarium. I had that from another project, and that just allows the stone to sit straight so that this dries straight up at a 90-degree angle, which is what you want. And then you just leave it there.
A couple other suggestions coming in for ideas for the tote. Someone was suggesting using old silverware for knobs in a kitchen or paintbrushes for knobs in an art studio.
Oh, yeah.
Those are kind of cool.
A lot of great ideas. Keep them coming. I love it. So I made different ones here, and this is what happens. It dries, and then you have something to attach it to your drawer. So let me do it with this one. So you just take the knob out, and you may find that the hole here is not the right size. So you just have to, because this is a little bit bigger, you'll see than what was in there before, but I just drilled a slightly bigger hole. And even when the hole is bigger to accommodate this, it still accommodates the smaller one. So, and then you just put it in there like that. And
some ideas are coming through for sea glass and seashells, beans and seeds, someone said. So that's sort of an interesting suggestion as well.
Yeah, if you find something big. And there you go. A new knob. It's the simplest DIY I've ever done, really, that has a really big impact on the decor, because now that all my knobs are stones like this, my bathroom feels much more like a spa, and it's just really, really nice. So you can make these stone knobs really easily.
And for a lot cheaper than what you buy fancy knobs.
Because this pack of, I got 20 of these. This comes with nuts and bolts. They come with a set like that, and it was 20 for I think $8 or $9. So it's really inexpensive. The only thing with this is that the bolt was a little bit shorter, and that's one thing that you want to keep in mind for your bolts, is the length, and this is the metric one, and this was a 20 millimeter bolt, and you want a 25 millimeter bolt.
So look at it that way. There we go.
So the length of the bolt really depends on the width of your drawer face. So about an inch usually works, but you just want to check the thickness, right? Because the bolt has to go through the drawer face, and it has to be able to protrude out by like enough so that it can go in there.
We've got a bunch of cool ideas here. Wood stained letters. We've got bottle caps. We've got old buttons, and we've got Lego for a kid's room.
I have some buttons. See, I have some buttons these are old leather buttons, and I spray painted one with champagne spray paint, and yeah, that would totally make a cool button. You can just do this. Now the other thing with these nut caps is you can change them to different metal finishes, and I did that here with one. I made it more of a brassy gold color, and the way to do that is really simple. You can spray paint, but I try to avoid spray painting as much as I can in my apartment because, well, I don't really have the room for it. So I just use a Sharpie, and they have these metal colored Sharpies, and you can just color this really easily like that, and it will transform it into a different metal finish. And since you're never really handling this part of the knob, once your knob is installed, you're never really touching that part of the knob. So it's really not critical that this finish be super resistant, although you could, I suppose, finish it off with some lacquer or something like that.
We've got a couple more ideas that are coming through. It's hard to keep up with them all, but we've got some sockets or small wrenches you could use if you're doing a guy's bathroom or I guess a shop as well. People are suggesting brooches, vintage jewelry, and someone's also race cars for a boy's room.
Yeah, that's cool. I've actually seen also people use plastic animals and cut them in half and made them like a dinosaur head sticking out of a kid's drawer. So that really, the possibilities are endless. And all you need are these little connector things.
And they're talking about also, along with that, small doll figures for girls' rooms. People are suggesting stuffed animals. One of the questions that keeps popping up is the glue. What is the glue that you're using? And could we see a picture of that?
Yeah, I'm just using epoxy glue. So this is I just got this from the dollar store. These are single-use ones. This was $1. You could also use more. This is really strong. This is from JB Weld, and this is absolutely the strongest epoxy you could possibly find. This though has a color to it, so it's more of a black gray color. So you would want to do that maybe with knobs like this, so that you wouldn't see the color. But just epoxy, your regular garden variety epoxy, is what I used for that. Now the next doorknobs, not doorknobs, the next doorknobs that I'm going to make are with shells. And again, I wish I could have found these on the beach here in LA, but no, there weren't any to be found. So I got these at the dollar store. And they're really beautiful on their own, and I thought that they would also make good drawer pulls. So I've done this a couple of different ways, and this is where sometimes experimenting you find different ways that work better. So initially what I did to make these knobs is I used epoxy in this format and just poured it in there and then stuck the bolt. But it's kind of messy and it uses a lot of glue. So I came up with another way of doing it using Sculpey clay, oven baked clay. And
where can people get
this? I actually found at Walmart, but you can get it on Amazon. This, believe it or not, is a pound of clay, and this was about $6. So it's about the cheapest I've ever seen this stuff, but that was at Walmart. So this is great stuff because it's super easy to work with, and all you need to do really is fill the inside of the shell like this.
People got all sorts of great ideas with the kids' toys. Dominoes. Someone suggested the heads of Barbie dolls.
Oh, wow.
Which might be a little crazy, but
I like the dominoes idea, actually. That would be really cute. Yeah, that would be a cute addition to a games room, maybe, if you have a dresser that holds all your games. That would be really cool.
And people saying a lot of things like brass belt buckles, old keys, rhinestones. Wow, everybody has so many amazing ideas on how to use this craft idea.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you've ever looked for knobs, they're really expensive. And when you have a lot of cabinets, say in a kitchen or a dresser that has a lot of drawers, it can add up really quickly. So this is a really easy, cheap way to do it, and you can customize it to any decor that you want. So I'm just filling it nice and compact here. And then all that I do is you take your connector cap, and as I mentioned, I got these ones I got on Amazon, these sets, and I just put it in there. Now I've done it a couple of different ways. I've done it where I've pushed it all the way in and covered the nut. It really depends on how much you want your knobs to stick out from the drawer face. So you can stick it in more if you want the drawer pull to be closer, or you can leave it like this so that it's there's more distance between the shell and the drawer. Now, the trick is to make it be as straight as possible. And one thing that I've sort of been using to help with that is a piece of cardboard that I put a hole in, and I just put it over like that. And that way you can kind of make sure that it's flat, and then you put, your bolt on top of it, and you get a better visual. You see how now I'm seeing that it's a bit crooked? Can you hold it up
just a little higher?
You can see how it's a bit crooked, so I know that I need to kind of make it more like that. It's not a precise science, but so you kind of take a look at it from all different angles to see that it's straight. And then then you try to put, this is the tricky part, taking it off without changing the alignment. But
someone had also suggested that they use this clay you're talking about to form paw prints from their dog, and then they paint them and they use the paw print clay on the dog's cupboard for the dog food.
Oh, wow.
I really like that one.
That would be really cute. So you do that, and then you take this out and you bake it in the oven. For the instructions on the package say to bake it for 15 minutes per 1/4 inch of thickness. So you just have to approximate about how much thickness that is. I've baked them for about an hour, and that seems to have worked well. Let me just get one that I've baked. So this is what happens. The clay changes a little bit of color, and it becomes hard, like this. And then, again, all that you need to do is to take your epoxy. Let me see. What is this? Resin.
Someone was saying this would also be a great idea to make a coat or a key rack. So not just knobs on drawers. For those just joining us, you're doing actually drawer knobs that are there.
Yeah, you can. I've seen coat racks being sold online for a lot with those hooks actually. And yeah, it's a great idea. So again, I'm just mixing some regular garden variety epoxy glue and making sure that it's nice and mixed well. And again, I'm just going to take just dip it in there. And you stick it, oh no, I already did that. Yeah, there it is. This is the one that I stuck it on. So you just stick it in here, and then you put it in a bed of sand. You could use sand, salt, whatever you have. I just had this gravel from another project, and you just leave it there to dry. And again, that's it. You just let it dry, and you will end up with a nice little knob like this. And this one I did differently. I buried the head of it in there. And what I found when I did that is that when I was trying to twist it onto the drawer face, this would spin inside. It wouldn't come out, but it would spin. So I just put epoxy around it to secure it. So it's just, you can just play around with it. There's no exact science as to how this is done. So then you can just put it on your drawer very easily. Now, I have to change out the bolts because this is imperial and that's imperial. And it won't work with this because this is metric. So I'm using metric bolts. And these are 25 millimeters. If you're buying them online, this is 25 millimeters in length. And it's a number 6, which this is a number 6. So those are the two things you need to find. And I have all this information on my website, on my blog, engineeryourspace.com, and there's a blog post that you can see that has, there you go. And now you have a beautiful new knob made out of a shell.
Beautiful. Someone's saying polished petrified wood. I'm not sure what that is. Do you know what that is?
Well, I mean, I'm guessing it's just a free-form piece of wood. I think that would be really nice. Now, I also made them using these shells. And this one I spray painted white because it had a bit of weird coloring, this one. So I spray painted it white, which I wanted to experiment with. And you can obviously spray paint any color. And again, it's exactly the same process of taking the clay. And this is Sculpey clay. It's oven baked clay, so I'm sure there's other brands out there, and it's super easy to work with. I got this at Walmart, but you can find it on Amazon as well. And all you need to do is pack the clay inside the cavity of the shell, like this. Make sure that it's nice and covered, like that. And another way there's many different options. Like I said, there's a lot of hardware out there that you can experiment with. And instead of using these connector caps, you could just use a nut and a bolt. And this is a kind of a different way of doing it, where you put the bolt inside the shell. And you put it in there as deep as it needs to go for the right length to go through the drawer face. And you pack that in. And so this will make the shell go right up against the drawer pull. So because these shells are kind of thick, you might not want them to protrude out too much. So again, with this, I used a little cardboard piece to make sure. So you sit the shell on the cardboard piece, and then you can see, oh, look, you can see that this is crooked. So then you can move it around to make sure. Just need to that it's straighter. Doesn't need to be perfect, but just make it so that it's straighter like that. And the idea is, when you're doing that, is that you can again put this in the oven, bake it for, it says to bake it for 15 minutes for every 1/4 inch of thickness of clay. So I baked these for about an hour, and that seemed to work. And then you get this. And it's all, like, it's not going anywhere. And then you can put that on your drawer. Now, like I said before, the difference with this is that this is going to sit flush against the drawer face. So otherwise you would see this bolt, which isn't very pretty. But it's a different look, and it's another option that if you can't find those connector caps, or you can't get your hands on that, you can just, and then this is different, where you put the bolt through the drawer face like this, and then on the other side you use a washer and the nut like that. You can tell my drawers we're not from this decade. Mm-hmm. I live in an old apartment, and these are the drawers, and you just tighten it like that, and that's it. So you can see from the top view that the shell is right up against the drawer face.
I'll show them a different view here.
Which is another look, which can work as well when you're working with something that's pretty, that's tall or wide. So that's one version of it. Now the other version I did using the connector cap. So it's the same idea as before, where you take the glue, and you just use epoxy glue to glue the connector cap to the shell. And then again, you use the bolt and then put it in. I don't know why. There we go. Yeah, so that's a knob. So again, what else, I'm not sure what other ideas we've gotten for totes.
Yeah.
For, knobs to win the tote.
To win the tote, we've got some fabric handlers, silk flowers. Someone could use silk flowers, Hot Wheels cars. We've got a lot of Hot Wheel cars options, a lot of toy options. We ask people again, remind people why they're sending that. Somebody said a light bulb. I'm not sure how you'd use that.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Yeah, so if you get
animal-shaped cookie cutters, that could be cool.
So yeah, all these ideas that for knobs, it's amazing the creativity, and I love that this is a simple DIY that you can do in minutes and get knobs. And we'll pick a winner at the end, and the winner who has the most original idea is going to win a tote bag.
There's a bunch of people that are suggesting a bunch of ideas with the clay, and someone had just suggested getting leaves outside and pressing them in the clay to have the impression of the leaf and painting them. Mm-hmm. Someone else had suggested earlier on with the paw prints, small pieces of woods with sayings on them that say like happy and smile.
Yeah, you could also mold the clay into anything and make that into, I've seen people make gemstones where they take this and then they use a knife and they make it into a geometric shape. You can use also silicone baking trays for like chocolate or for baking in general. And they come in all sorts of shapes like stars or if you want to make square knobs, which is different than what we're used to seeing, you can just use this clay, put it in the silicone molds, bake them, and you can have knobs in basically any shape, form that you want. And you can paint them, and you can also put some glossy finish on them. Yeah.
Wine corks is coming up a lot for people too, to use the corks from wine bottles.
Yes, indeed. With the wine bottle, and I've seen champagne corks because they have that nice shape that is really cool too.
People are talking about antlers from deer and things like that, and also driftwood, and there just happens to be the driftwood sculpture above your head here, or pieces like that could also be used as handles. Is that correct?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, spoons and knives for kitchens. That's been I've seen that done a lot. You can also, there's these kits to make buttons, and you could also make your own. This is with fabric, but you could cover. You could finish that with something, and that's also something that would easily turn into a knob. If you wanted to. And these little button making kits, you can cover them with any fabric that you could then cover. Yeah.
Someone did a bar cart with nip bottles for the cabinet handles. I'm not sure what nip bottles are.
I'm not sure either.
Those tops maybe for pouring.
That's intriguing.
Bottle caps.
Cool, yeah.
Really big gaudy rings. Got lots of grandma's jewelry. People have got a lot of grandma's jewelry and not knowing what to do with it, so drawer handles are good.
Yeah, and again, all you need are these little connector caps and bolts, and you're good to go. And can easily find them on Amazon and or at your hardware store. Just as I mentioned, make sure that if you're buying the metric, you stick with metric, and if you're buying Imperial, you stick with Imperial. Well, I think that's it for me. Yeah, and you can find that information on where to get these on my blog, engineeryourspace.com. I know I say that fast, engineeryourspace.com. Yeah, so I really had fun doing this live DIY with you, and tune in. There'll be another one on Hometalk's page at 7 p.m. with another fun DIY project, and the Hometalk people will be picking the winner.
They did. We're congratulating Sanjay for his wine cork idea. He's the winner of the tote bag, and they're going to be reaching out to him to get him his tote bag.
Congratulations, Sanjay. Good job. Good suggestion. Thank you for everyone. Hope you enjoy your day, the rest of your day. Bye.